saw it, but in a download, I had to go into.
Mine did not save like this.
No,
Right?
don't worry about that. This is for me to see it. This is for me to see it on the screen. You have it how it should be. Yours is a Word document that you can type into.
All right, cool. Just making sure.
All right.
But
Yeah,
that's great.
don't panic. Just as long as you can see it, that's the important thing. You're saying entrepreneurial because I have different variations of this worksheet. Let me make sure I give you all the right one. Right? Great.
We're supposed to be able to type into it because I can't. It's saying read only.
There should be an option there that allows you to edit.
You gotta click duplicate where it says read only on the top right side.
What? What top
The,
right?
op- the option to duplicate. Yeah, are you in Word, Microsoft Word now, Alima? Or still on
And if
Teams?
you download it, for sure it would allow you to
What am I
because
in Teams?
you probably would have to download it.
You gotta download it first to get, yeah, because it's read only in Teams. At least for me.
But saying sign into your account, Microsoft Online. Focus this way.
I'll email it to you all now.
Thank you.
Everyone is good now? We can begin?
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Right,
Thank-
great. So here's the thing, class. You all are doing a course called ACHEM Practicum, and there's that very interesting word inside of ACHEM, enterprise. And you would have already seen from your brochure when you decided that you will come on board in this exciting journey with me, that you are going to be exposed to developing your entrepreneurial skills and capacity and to be able to drive creative enterprises and to be able to sharpen your students' minds where creative entrepreneurship is concerned. And one of the ways in which I try to do that, to utilize the practicum, which is our closest example to real, I mean, it is real, for doing that. And it really begins here. For you to be able to build any of those plans, this is my contention, is that you must be very clear in your mind as to what you stand for as a creative entrepreneur. Why is that important? Can someone tell me why that might be important? If you agree with what I said, because if you don't agree, you may not see the importance of it. But if you agree with what I have said just now, why would it be important that this is a good place to start, that you must be clear on what you stand for as you go on the journey of building any one of those plans, whether it be a feasibility plan, a business plan, or a strategic marketing plan? Yes, Janelle.
Oh,
Or
sorry,
is
I didn't
that
know before, but probably because you want to maintain focus and you want to prioritize those aspects that would keep you focused and would keep you on track.
excellent? That's one. What's another reason? Very good start.
Maybe it's to help, maybe it's to help guide you into what you're doing.
How
It's a
so?
sense
How,
of
make the point a little different from Janelle's. What do you mean by that? In terms of what?
in terms of your business idea,
Aha.
so that you're able to you're able to
So,
construct
mhm.
mm, all that, well, the business plan or whatever, whether it's the business plan or the feasibility, you're able to have a proper directive or idea of
Mhm.
what you're doing.
Thank you. Very good. I could think of
Uh,
one more. Allow?
to add specificity and detail,
In terms of,
your plan and how to stick to and what the details you have to pay attention to make it sure that you keep on track and make sure that these are the important details that you must focus on to
okay,
reach where you reach.
yes and no. Kinda, but not quite.
Okay.
What you say is a little similar to what Hillary and Janelle are saying. If anyone else doesn't say it,
I,
I will
uh,
explain why I said that. Yes?
I was thinking that it's important to do that in advance so that you can know who you don't want to partner with or things of that.
Ah,
Right.
thank you, Damon. Exactly that. Exactly that. That is exactly why. So I was hoping Olemal would have landed there.
Right.
Exactly
I see where.
why. You see, everybody understands that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that you building this business or building this venture or this project should not be in the absence of you being clear about where you stand. And for me, one of the ways in which I think one can arrive at that is to utilize the letters of the same word that you are supposed to be living or embodying. And so this then becomes your first exercise. It's a very simple one. And it's actually one of my strategy games that I created, and I use it all through the region when we're doing these kinds of workshops. And it's simply this. You see, you have all these letters here on the left here that make up on the left of my screen. I don't know how it's showing for you, that make up entrepreneurial, because of course entrepreneurial is the first part of entrepreneurial mindset, right? So the point of the exercise is to help you to arrive at your entrepreneurial mindset before you begin to analyze, strategize, further plan, develop, and build that venture, especially as you have to document it into one of the three of those plans that has been identified in your course outline. And so it's simply this. You take 10 minutes to do this. Why is it only 10 minutes? Because we don't want you to ponder and study and think about what's the best word to put there, but rather that you put the word that comes naturally to you, because you only have 10 minutes to do it. So in this first column, you put your watchword. So for every letter here, you're going to put a word that means entrepreneurial for you. So what is a word that begins with E that means entrepreneurial? One that begins with N, one that begins with T, R, and so on and so forth. You can also use entrepreneurship. If not what entrepreneurial means, what does entrepreneurship mean for you? Okay? And for every letter here, you should have a word. And when you have finished, of all the words that you come up with here now, you gotta tick which are your top 5 words. Whatever are the 5 most important ones for you are the ones you will either tick or you will write back here. All right, everybody understands what you're doing?
Yes, miss.
The
Yeah,
beautiful part is that everybody's in their respective domiciles, so nobody can peep on nobody's paper. How lovely. So it's 6:48 now. So at 6:58, I will be sounding my bell to hear what you come up with. All right, so start. Don't waste time. You can, of course, cross talk with each other, but you really want to arrive. Do it as quickly as you can. Right? Don't cook the book. Don't spoil it. Don't go and look at no dictionary, nothing. Right? Simply put what the words here, according to each letter, that means something to you where entrepreneurial or entrepreneurship is concerned. You may begin. Mhm. 7 more minutes. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. How are we coming?
I'm done. Finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
finished.
wait for the others. All right, let's wait for the others.
But what you don't like?
1 more minute.
Finish.
Is everybody finished? Can we see a show of hands of everyone? Anyone still working on it?
The hands are for the working or finished working?
That's what I'm wondering. Everyone is finished? Well, who is not finished? Let me see show of hands so I'll know. Okay, so we're all finished. Great. So how was that? How did you find that? Let's hear.
It was a worthwhile experience, yes.
Why you say that? You would
And
never.
because I would never have thought of doing something like this, and doing this kind of made you think of what either are the characteristics or the particular focus that you need to have if you are to really engage this mindset.
This is it. This course is about getting serious now. You see, so the thing is, one has to have, as you're saying, the correct mindset or frame of mind. If one is to not just engage in what you're being asked to do, but to do it successfully. So, I think that's what we want to. We want to be successful at whatever it is we are embarking on here, as opposed to just say we're doing it for doing sake. And so this is one of the reasons why we start here. Anyone else has another comment they want to make about their own experience in doing it before we
Yeah,
go into it?
I can go.
Sure. Thank you.
Not even, well, very similar to that in terms of thinking of the characteristics, but also now, what do you personally value and see for yourself that that will embody these traits of being an entrepreneur?
Yes.
So beyond the natural, okay, what you hear people and what society and the general buzzwords you hear connected to the word now, a little more deeper. Okay, what do I think and what do I personally believe embody?
Right. And I suppose in that regard, everybody's comments from before when I asked the question of, so why do you think this would be important to do? It resonates because you wouldn't want to, for example, to get into business with someone who doesn't share or any of what might be your mindset as an entrepreneur. If you understand what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
if you've never thought of it, you could easily find yourself wasting time because they approached you and it sounded like a real good idea and oh gosh, we could really do this. But if you know what your mindset is, chances are as they start to talk, you will know whether or not this is really in sync with what you are about. Agreed? So let's hear what are some of the ones that you came up with. Actually, I'd be happy to everybody's. Okay, so who's gonna go first? Let's hear. We hear some of the ones that you came up with and what came your top 5.
I go first.
All right. Oh man,
Go ahead.
it's just gonna.
So I have my first one. E is I have two actually. Sorry. Energizing and execution.
Mm-hmm.
My N is new. My T is technology and targeting, sorry. R is relationships, E is environment, P is positivity, R is recruiting, E is economical, N is networking, and next E is exposure. U for me is an undertaking because I think it's gonna be a big undertaking. Recognition for R. I have two for I, which is innovative and interactive. I have A for adapt and L for leadership.
Interesting. Thank you. Now, what were your top 5?
Execution, technology, economical, innovative, and leadership.
Wow. Interesting. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Can I go next? Naomi here.
Go ahead.
All right. So I use Okay, thank you. I use entrepreneurial, enterprising, novel, time-conscious, responsible, engaged, prioritize, review, enlightening, niche, earnest, utilitarian, resourceful and resilient, industrious and intuitive, alliances and longevity.
That utilitarian killing me that, you know, but all right.
No, I was in two minds about it. But you see, I'm using utilitarian here as purposeful. You know, not as utilitarian as you just need to do something, but I'm seeing it as more like purposeful.
Okay,
so I was
no
really
problem.
in two minds about utilitarian, but that's the best I could have gotten to purposeful because my P was to prioritize.
Okay, so what are your top 5?
My top 5: enterprising, novel, time-conscious, resourceful, and alliances.
Nice. Can I get 2 more? We ain't hear any of the gentlemen yet.
All right, I can go. Yeah. This is Jeremy. Yeah, I have entertain, niche, technology, respect, energy, perseverance, resilience, extraordinary, new, exceptional, unparalleled, reciprocity, innovative, alliance, and lasting. And my top 5 is entertain, niche, extraordinary, innovative, and lasting.
Wow. 1 more.
Can I go next?
Sure, go ahead.
So energetic, natural, tough, resilient, engaged, powerful, reaction, empower, new, enterprise, understanding, revolutionary, innovative, assertive, and authentic, long-term. My top 5: authentic, empower, innovative, revolutionary, and resilient.
Very nice. Excellent. So, all of you at this stage now, having filtered, the idea is that you focus on that far right column, the one that says your top 5. And those top 5 watchwords are what essentially become or can be your vision. Remember, the idea of vision is something that is lofty that we always strive for. And so just like how in Trinidad and Tobago you have the watchwords, productivity, tolerance, and what's the third one?
Production.
What is it? What is it?
Discipline, tolerance, and production.
Right. You two, in carving your business, you two in carving your business venture or your project venture would have your watchwords. But I'm saying even more important than that is that your watchwords can become your vision. And so based on the watchwords, you can craft a vision. You can say that this, our long-term goal is X or Y or Z. And we will come to that shortly as to how we actually word that. So that is the first place that we begin. We have a sense of ourselves as entrepreneurs in terms of what our entrepreneurial mindset is or how we see ourselves in crafting something that isn't just a creative project or a good creative idea. Great. Anyone has any thoughts on that? Any comments before we move on to the next one? Oh, everybody's Okay, so we have that for now. So we're gonna come back at that shortly. I want for you now to go into your files again. You're pulling now the defining purpose worksheet.
Joanne, you broke up in the last part. You could tell.
Right, you're going in back into your files again, and you are going now to pull out your defining purpose worksheet. You should see it there.
Hmm.
Everybody sees it?
No.
As in class materials.
It's in class materials. I think I've put all of them in class materials.
It sure is. I will come to that.
But you get it yet?
Funny.
Everybody has it or not yet?
Yeah, I have it.
Somebody
I have
email,
it. I just emailed it to you if you get in trouble.
I'm not getting it to open at all.
You have to download it. Could you
you have
download
to
it by
download
me?
because you're going to be working in it the
This
same
page ain't
way.
opening.
If you press it three buttons next to it.
Kindly put your mic
Exactly.
over. It's
Hillary, mute your
important.
mic, please.
Right, everybody has it?
Thank you, Saigi.
No problems.
Right. So once we know what our entrepreneurial mindset is, we want now to also be very clear on our purpose in relation to that venture, that project idea that we have in mind. This is a very important stage in terms of harnessing the mindset and in terms of building towards your strategizing. This is actually where you, the entrepreneur, now seek to meet this project concept or this project idea that you have in mind. It is almost as if the two become one. Why do you think that would be important that the two become one? For those, of course, who agree with me. Why would this entrepreneurial mindset that you have, right? Why do the two need to become one? Why do you have to be able to meet then this project concept that you came up with a week or two ago that you've already put into a project proposal form? Anybody?
I feel like if the two to become one, you're not making sense.
Sorry?
I feel like if the two do become one, as in if you're not in sync with what you want to do and who you are, then it may not be necessarily successful of a venture.
Right. Okay, I'll accept that. It didn't make any sense, but what are some of the challenges one might have? I think we need to be clear in our mind as to why, because that sounds like the automatic answer that if the two don't become one, it will make sense. But what might be some of the challenges you could encounter, to say that you may not necessarily be successful?
Well, I mean, when it comes to business, as you say, there are going to be challenges that we're going to face.
Mm-hmm.
What we can hold on to. to focus on when it is we hit those blocks to keep us pushing forward. So once if it is we're able to blend the two of them together in terms of what our watchwords are and as well as the project, the watchwords will help give the project the foundation it needs to push forward in times of doubt.
Okay, we kind of there. I mean, we know that for you because we discussed the watchwords already.
Right.
But in terms of saying you're defining purpose, and I'm saying that this is important. This is important for helping us to blend in a sense with the concept or the venture that we have in mind. I'm trying to get you to explore, to consider, to contemplate. Why is it that the two have to become one? Why is it that there has to be a meeting of the minds? In other words, that this venture that you thought of now needs to match how you see yourself as a creative entrepreneur, or how you see your entrepreneurial spirit to be, so to speak, or your entrepreneurial mindset. Right? Why is that? What are some of the challenges that you might have if the two don't meet then? Can you imagine what those might be? Anybody?
Yeah, and I'm just doing a project for project with no tangible or realistic or goal, objective, benchmark, I guess is a word of use instead.
Yes, I would
Instead,
definitely
benchmark.
ask. And if it is that you end up doing it for doing its sake, then what might happen? What could end up happening? Apart from yes, failure, but we thinking it in real world project now. What was some of the things that could happen?
Somebody could end up taking that same idea you have, because you might not think it's feasible, or you might lose interest in it, and then somebody could take the same idea and make it into something.
I run it. Yes, we know getting somewhere. Yes, thank you, Melina. What else? This is what we remember. This is real, this is not theory. We leave arts, culture, and society last term. This is the real deal now. Correct. Right. So in other words, this is part of you owning it. This is part of you owning it. But what else? Why else? Why else the two need to become one? What's this pitfall that could happen, as Jaron was saying there, that it might fail and all of this? What is that about? How does defining purpose become important to avoiding failure?
As an entrepreneur, I think that you have to put your all into the business, because it's not like a 9 to 5 job where you could stop working at any point in time. Like if an opportunity presents itself and if you're not in sync with what the watchwords are of the business, you can miss out on business opportunities, and you can miss ability for chances.
Yes, correct is right. Correct. And there may very well be business opportunities that have to do with the very project concept that you are working on here. And that is one of the ways in which sometimes people take your idea but don't necessarily take your idea. We could use your experience as an example. You went to a workshop and heard CXC talk about this thing, but the truth is, I suppose if you had done this exercise before, they could have talked and talked and talked. It would have never troubled you to think that just maybe, I can't do what I have in mind. But when we get here at this juncture, in terms of defining our purpose, it really helps us to be very clear in our mind as to the I like to call it real estate then, that we are creating, the creative and cultural capital that you are harnessing and molding. And so it makes you even more determined. And what I'm saying here is all very important to pitch deck. So it becomes a case, you're not being arrogant, but you're very clear in your mind as to what it is you are seeking to build, and you are just simply going through these stages, building this document to show that this is the intent and it can and it will happen. Everybody understands that?
Yep.
Yes.
So let us turn now to worksheet 2. Is my screen still being shared? No. I just
Yeah.
want you.
Yes, we still on the entrepreneurial form.
Okay. I want you to why is it doing like that? I want you to go into yours that you downloaded though and make one little change for me. This is interesting that it is doing that. Because you all are still seeing watchword and I shifted the page. That's interesting. All right, let me see. Is everyone seeing the page now as worksheet 2? No, it still hasn't moved. Okay, I'm going to have to unshare and share again, it seems.
Yeah.
Really strange.
Yeah, I think you're better off unsharing and then resharing with the page you want.
It looks so. Well, let's hope it does what I want it to do. It comes back to the same page. Okay, what I want you all to do is to go into your worksheet. You're seeing defining purpose. And I want you to change the who are we to who am I till I can get it up on the screen. And where you have we are, you put I am. Anywhere you are seeing we and our, you're changing it to my and I. And of course, you're correcting the grammar from are to am. And at the bottom in the third one, where it says by 2020, that's so ironic. Imagine we're in 2020 now. You're changing that to 2030. Everybody heard the changes?
Could you repeat that?
I think I just saw it say, okay, so, no, that's the wrong one. So you are changing everything on the worksheet from we to I, our to my, and in the last block where it asks about what yours should say, what is my vision, you'll change it to that. You're saying instead of by 2020, you're saying by 2030. Everybody has the changes?
Yes.
Okay, so mine is coming now shortly. I think I have it now. It's going to open shortly, yes. And so this is one of the next, this is one of the other kinds of interventions that you can make now in terms of helping yourself to harness your focus in relation to the concept. The purpose of this worksheet is, as I said, is like a meeting of the minds, is like the two become one. But I'll tell you this as well, it's also important for helping you to craft your strategic profile, which is going to become important when you have your interim report to do, as well as your final documentation, because you should be able to introduce yourself strategically. It's not just to say, hello, I'm Joanne, and I am a Barbadian. So for example, one of the things I am working on is that I have this vision that I am going to be this superstar academic. We have these all over the world, but the Caribbean does not really have that. And what that means is you are engaging not only with your students, but when you do workshops, you try to keep in touch, you have some kind of social media presence, you are always publishing or writing or giving speeches. That is my example, my personal example in terms of developing my strategic profile. And how did I arrive at that? By going through these same exercises that I am sharing with you all and I have shared with others. So you would notice that some of what you've done before comes back here, and we'll come to that. Let us look and see what the three things ask of us before we go off and we work on it on our own. So who am I? Who am I is not to say, I am Joanne Tull and I am a mother and I am a this and that. But they mean strategically, what is your purpose? How do you see yourself? I know Nivedita doesn't have this down already because she said from 2 weeks ago, she's a knowledge broker. She is in the business of brokering knowledge. You still that or you've changed? Nivedita is here with us today?
Yes, pretty much same concept.
Oh, so who am I? I am, right? It's a very present continuous. I think I have that right. Teachers tell me if I have that verb construct correct, that it gives it gives the sense clearly that this is how you continuously see yourself, and therefore this is what makes you the best person to be piloting and pivoting the project that you have in mind. Right? So who am I? I am. And you make that determination. What is the business you're in? And of course, what is the business you're in? Because you're trying to meet with your project. Remember now, class, you would not have come up with the project that you did if you did not have some kind of passion about it. Agreed? So what is the business that you are in that relates to that project concept that you have in mind? And then lastly, what is your broad vision? And where is broad vision coming from? Where do you think we can take that from?
The project proposal
Yeah.
initial form.
No, what is my broad vision? By 2030, we intend to be. Where's your broad vision coming from? What did we do that help us with that?
The first part of the exercise this evening,
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
the words there
Yes.
now.
Yes, your watchwords. So you will look at your 5 watchwords, and by 2013, what of those watchwords is what you intend to be? You see? So, like for me, one of my R's in entrepreneurial has always been resilience and resilient. So, for me, if I intend to be the superstar academic, as I say, by 2020, I intend to be resilient, might be one of mine. You see, and this is how from there you are able to craft a sentence if you want to create a sentence about vision. But certainly you can leave it just like this. And this is what helps to build what we call your strategy or your strategic profile. So let's recap and connect the dots. So far, we know what is our entrepreneurial mindset, right? And we have been taught that or elements of our entrepreneurial mindset. Out of it, we created our watchwords, and we can use those watchwords to help to articulate our broad vision. In addition to that, this having an understanding of our scope of business and having an understanding of our purpose are also, yes, of understanding of who we are also important to defining our purpose. And we are saying that all of that collectively, knowing our entrepreneurial mindset, knowing what are our watchwords, knowing our purpose, are what collectively make up our strategic profile. So this is what we want to work on now. So this one now takes about the same 10 minutes. Doesn't usually, in this instance, though, And I don't want to go past, even if we don't finish now, because we want to do one more exercise before we close off. You can go back and mull at it, because we do give this one a little introspection. You know, you want to, even though, again, I always tell people, the thing that comes most naturally to you, you put that down. Because sometimes we deny ourselves our purpose. I don't know if any of you have ever heard that, but I do believe that working with creators, having clients through the years, sometimes we deny ourselves our purpose, because there may be someone, or maybe the context, and you really think you could do that, or sometimes you yourself may tell yourself that. And so again, this is one of the important aspects of this course, that it allows for you to work on something that you may have had a passion and a dream about for the longest time. And so this is a time now where you allow yourselves to clearly articulate and identify how you see yourself. And so this is why it starts with the who am I. So I'm going to let you know, take about 10 minutes to work on that, and we will have a discussion in terms of what you have come up with, and we will go then now to our third and possibly final worksheet for this evening. All right, so everyone has been able to download it.
Yes.
Yes?
I've been having issues with it downloading of it, so I've just been writing them down. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
All right.
Does it usually give trouble, or is giving trouble today?
I normally find the duplicate button. I don't know why I can't find it today, so and when I download it, I'm only getting to read only. It's saying that on Macs. Let me see what it says. Your account, the UE account, doesn't allow editing on a Mac.
Oh, good Lord. Well, these are the kind of challenges I'm going through. But what I will do is I will email them to you all. But just try see if you can get at it for now, and I will send them all to you all in some kind of batch or something, if it gives that trouble. All right. So,
do we have to have 3 points for each, or would 2 suffice? What do you
2 would
suggest?
suffice once they could stand by it. 2 would suffice. I always believe in 3s. I don't know why, but 2 would suffice. Are we ready as yet? We just have about a minute or so left to go.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
working.
Let me know when you all are ready.
I am ready.
Anyone else is still working? Okay, that means everybody's ready then.
I don't think so.
Sorry, no, I'm still working, but you can go
I'm
ahead.
still
I almost
working.
almost finished.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So tell me, how was that exercise now? Naomi, how did you find that one?
Actually, I felt I was very challenged in the first one with the who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Part of my challenge was I am thinking of me, I'm always thinking of the group, like the association I'm with. So in terms of
Mm-hmm.
me as in my role, if you want, I really wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have thought of it like this. You know, where I have to
Mm-hmm.
focus on what my role is then specifically, as it links
Yes.
to what I want to do here now.
Yes. 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 And that is important because, in a sense, sometimes when we are in these kinds of organizations, we have to recognize the kind of agency that we have. Sometimes we take it for granted, because we don't understand it strategically, if you
Mm-hmm.
appreciate what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you may decide that okay, so you've taken this on as a project, you recognize the importance of the project, and so it is possible through the strategy exercise to see where you are positioning yourself to the benefit of yourself and the project, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, your organization.
Yep.
By extension, this is an exercise that you can also use with your colleagues. You all
Mm-hmm.
can go through things as a group as well, and that would be very useful. You see? So
Yep.
that is also to be borne in mind. Anyone else? their experience? Tell me, how is it doing this one?
For this one, I kept thinking about my business venture specifically. Yes, it really had me thinking about it in terms of everything with regards to the broad vision, where do I see it, 2030, because when you told us change it from 2020, I thought you were going to say 2021. They said 2030, like, really going to have to think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you see the benefit in that though? The use of having to think down to 2030? I'm asking.
Yeah, because what it does is it helps me to really map out where I see the business that far. Well, it's not really that far, but in 10 years or 9 years, however you want to count it, right?
Yes. And why is it important that we see the business that far down as you put it? What's the big deal with that? Why is that even important?
So you'll know how stable the business is, whether or not it's something like it's a fly by night something, or whether it's something that can actually last for a period of time, whether it's something that can evolve and grow and stand the test of time, so to speak, depending on how you engage with it.
Can you appreciate how that will help you in terms of when you have to do your pitch deck? Because someone might be questioning whether or not what you're doing there, that really makes sense. What's the big deal about that? They could easily say, for example.
Yeah, so it would really help us in terms of when they pitch those questions to us, we will be able to already have an idea as to where we see it in the future. So when we are answering those questions, it will be informed based on that perspective, as opposed to a short-term perspective that may not cater to the questions they ask and might leave us,
Yes, exactly. Correct. Exactly. Good. Can I hear now from you all? What were some of the things that you came up with? There's some people I haven't heard for the day. They're at school, but they're not in school. They're here in body, but not in spirit. Is that what we say? Can I hear from someone who have not really heard yet for the day? Well, I see Jaron want to say something. Go ahead. That might get one of your colleagues ready to talk in the meantime.
Well, I was just gonna do mine because I didn't do the other one.
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Hi, I am a creative industry essential worker and a media professional.
Why creative industries essential worker? Why essential?
Because I work even during a pandemic.
And that is relevant to your product?
Yeah, because the product is supposed to be available all the time.
That is how you are perceiving it. I am going to challenge you to work on that again. What's the second one you said?
A media professional.
A media professional. So I am a media professional. And when you think about the project that you're doing, what else do you see? Consider yourself to be the messenger, so to speak, where that project is concerned. You are the one who has to drive it then. How do you see yourself in relation to the project in that regard? The role to play?
Say that again?
Do you see yourself as having a very critical role to play in relation to the project that you are thinking of, that you are doing rather, because we past thinking now?
I think that my role will be one of making collaborations happen, so bringing people together who are already working on parts of it, and just putting it bringing it together. Like I'd be the glue that holds it all together.
So you are a creative collaborator then?
Creative collaborator.
So you see what I'm saying? So I would like for you to give that some thought, just as how we brainstormed it there just now. You see, it's almost as if we just did in action what you yourself said is the importance of this exercise. When you say when I said the two shall become one, and you understood what that meant. But no, we actually want to be able to articulate that. Because here it is, look, we've now found out about another aspect of you. You know, you said you're the one that will pull it all together, collaborator of sorts. And that's important strategically, as a matter of fact. Janelle has a question on Alicia before we continue with Jaron, or is it just to give your listing?
It's to give my listings.
Janelle after Jaron, and Alicia, your hand is up to comment or ask a question or to do the same.
Ask a question. Let's ask a question.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. And we'll come back to Jaron.
To Janelle.
No, to Jaron. He didn't finish. He's gonna do his whole sheet.
No, I
go
just
ahead. Ask the question.
I wanted to find out if there was a difference between the who am I in terms of what we do for as a profession, and who am I in terms of who we are as a person. So when we're defining the I am, like
this is right. As I said before, I am a mother. I am a lecturer. I am someone's daughter. I am somebody's wife. But the fact is, I see myself as what? A superstar academic. So that is who I want to be in relation to, and who I am striving to be, and how I am positioning myself in relation to the projects. When I look at all the projects that I'm doing, they all lead back to that. You see?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Janelle's hand is up. Yes, Janelle.
This exercise here, the Who Am I think that book, The Creative Entrepreneur, when they ask what's your sweet spot, and to go to whole heart and meaning and value, I think that for those who have not done that, that might be a step to get to this Who Am I, because unless you have those concepts in your mind and you can evaluate and measure, you know, those things, I think you'll never really grasp who am I and the sweet spotness of it. So because when you describe who you are, like the superstar academic, then I grasped, oh, that means I have to talk about my sweet spot, because I had it my sweet spot in my mind, but never really had to use it per se. So I just thought out.
Thank you for that, Janelle. Yeah. Because Janelle's comment brings me back to the point I made earlier about us no longer denying ourselves our purpose. Remember I said that? And this is one of the reasons why sometimes we do observe really great projects, but sometimes we think back and say, but wait, whatever happened to that? Where that went? And at the same time, sometimes we see something so simple and it just going, and it like it just not stopping. And it's because the person who's driving it understands their intrinsic connection to it and what that means for the thing continuing to go from strength to strength. Do we appreciate what I'm saying there?
Yes, I do.
Yes, Alicia. Question again. Jaron, get yourself ready. We're coming back to you just now.
Sorry, I didn't realize my hand was still up. Picking it down now.
Okay. Okay, Jaron, continue if you're ready again.
Yeah.
So what?
So,
yes.
The scope of my business, I'm in the business of cultural preservation and monetization, and also cultural evolution.
Well, he ain't get his sweet spot, but he sure get our one, boy. What is my broad vision? By 2020, 2030, you intend to be?
I intend to be industrious.
Wow. Only that one? Nothing else that you picked from your watchwords?
Yeah, that's the one that I think will take the longest to materialize. And I think 10 years in terms of just being able to boost the industry as a whole, because I think it will take some time for everybody to kind of come on board and agree to be a part of it when they start seeing the benefits of it slowly.
And you see what you just said there? I like that. So that is even turning the word industrious upside down, in a sense, because industrious means one thing, but in the sense in which you are speaking it, that is also another important way of looking at industrious. As you say that what you're doing drives the industry, and at the same time it encourages the industry to take a different look at itself, so to speak. And at the same time, industry suggests being driven.
Yeah.
And so when one puts down that word or those two words there, it is from there that you try to be able to explain what you mean by those words that you put there, those two words that you put there. All right?
Yep.
Someone else go again.
Okay, so I was thinking more on well, I became a little bit into what it is my business idea was.
Mm-hmm.
And then Janelle came on like flip the whole script, but anyway. so so I'll just read out the specific thing that I did, because I think that anything that you plan to do with your life, you could probably apply this to every single thing, so that instead of talking collectively, you could,
Mm-hmm.
look at it singly and make sure it makes sense and whatever. So who am I? I am an educator. I am creative and resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And the scope of my business is creating content for music education.
Mm-hmm.
And my vision in 2030, I would like to be one of the leading content creators for music education of all ages in the Caribbean.
Well, what happened to it? What's the problem?
No, just like
You
after
see,
she
find
said,
your sweet spot.
not yet.
That and that, if Janelle could share that, the link for that book, that would be great. That would be awesome. Because this is something, let me tell you, it's only 2 years now I came upon mine. Because we can always be very clear on the scope of our business, and we could be clear somewhat on our vision. As I've told you all these exercises I am sharing with you, I've used on myself, on friends, on other persons in workshops. But I only arrived at the who am I about 2 years ago, that I could have really articulated it. I find I used to need a whole blurb, and I could never understand that. And then one day I said, you know what? I am not looking closely enough at what is the common thread between my scope and my broad vision. And I imagined, as a matter of fact, as I like to tell my undergrad students, sometimes I like to create this word, I imaginate, because I want it to be such an active word. I don't want it to sound wispy and daydreamy like, but that it's a quite a methodical thing that we go through in our minds to just think about how you really see yourself in relation to down the road, in this instance 2030, and in relation to all of what you're doing that is driving you, that is giving you passion, that is driving that business idea or those set of activities that you're doing constantly and getting results. And that was how I arrived at my sweet spot, so to speak, my who am I. Yes, Olimar. No, Olimar's hand is down.
Yeah, just now you will just take back down my hand, but okay.
Mm.
And I am a creative educator, an entrepreneur, and innovator. So
Mm-hmm.
my business, I'm in the business of creating innovative, interactive technology to teach traditional knowledge for sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And
This sounds
my
real good.
my broad vision is I intend to be a leader in educational entrepreneurship using traditional knowledge through the execution of innovative technology for economic reasons. Because you said that use the 5 things, I try to use the 5 things and make it make
I
sense.
see that. I see that. I'm impressed. I see that. I see that. Yes. Well done. Yes. Well done. Anybody
As a,
else?
as a matter of fact, I wrote the last thing first and then I went back to.
I wanted to actually.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
So I am a storyteller. That is actually
Mm-hmm.
I am a seeker and consumer of pleasure, and I am an observer.
Mm-hmm. And what is the scope of your business?
I'm in the business of hold on. I'm in the business of facilitating, and it's, well, I'm in the business of, this should be facilitating entertainment through creative arrangement. I have to fix that. I'm in the business
Why don't you
of,
say experiences? Because when you talked about observer, I thought of experiences.
okay, so facilitating experiences. Yeah, migration. I'm in the business of sharing stories and perspectives, and I'm in the business of educating. And what is my broad vision? By 2020, I intend to be, and I use the same thing, a reputable events and entertainment brand, an astonishingly powerful force of positivity, and a timeless revolutionary.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Quite good. So let me explain to you now our final purpose for this worksheet.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
The thing that you wanted me to share is a book, but I will send in the WhatsApp group the slides that I gave to my students when I was doing this part of the thing. So y'all could just look through it and see.
There you go. Thank you very much, Janelle. I'm sure it will be helpful to many of us. Thank you.
Yeah, let's see.
So the final thing that we do with this worksheet that rounds off, in a sense, that part that we're talking about that we're calling strategic profile is using all of what we have here to come up with a one-liner or two-liner about our strategic intent. Now, the interesting thing is that the way in which Melina wrote hers, it's in there, in the way in which she did hers, and similarly for Olimal, right? Our strategic intent now is what we are pursuing as the broad overarching goal or purpose that is specific now to this concept, this business venture or project venture that we are attending to now at this time. So our worksheet 2 now, based on what we arrive at here, allows for us to look over what we have put here in these slots to arrive at a sentence or two that would reflect our strategic intent. And I'm saying that strategic intent reflects our broad or overarching goal or purpose that we have for that business venture that we have decided to pursue at this time. Everybody understands that?
I'm sorry, what are we looking at right now?
We are looking at the third aspect of our strategic profile.
Okay.
Which is called strategic intent. And we are able to define that based on what we have come up with here in our worksheet 2.
Is there a worksheet that we're looking at? That's what I was trying to figure out, if it was a worksheet.
No,
oh,
okay,
okay.
Worksheet. Basically, use what we've come up with here, and we try to map that out.
Cool, thanks.
And it's usually about a sentence or two that clearly articulates what is our overarching goal, our broad purpose that we have in mind for the business venture or project venture that we are looking to pursue at this time. So that when you write it out, you would see yourself. When I say write it out, I mean in terms of the strategic profile. Now, when you come to that, and of course, we'll come back to all of this in terms of when we look at the proposal and the interim report and what have you. But when you map out your strategic profile on your report, you would see that you would have identified what is your vision, which is what you would have articulated through your watchwords. You would see that you are able to identify your purpose by laying out these three elements we have here that we are seeing on our screen. And then lastly, you will be able to articulate your strategic intent. And I am saying that your strategic intent is a sentence or two that clearly articulates your broad goal or and purpose that you have in mind for the business, the venture or project that you are pursuing. All right, everybody understands that now?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Good. I think this was an evening well spent. Of course, I'm going to throw up the recording that everyone will have access to that you can go back over. This is a great place to stop. I would, of course, encourage you between now and next week to fine tune if you feel as if you want to go back over the exercise and make sure that you have everything in the way that you want it in terms of your entrepreneurial mindset and of course this worksheet. Excuse me, and most importantly that you would also make sure that you have defined your strategic intent. When we come next week, you will have Miss Brooks in class. I will let you know via the chat if you will have a full 3 hours with her. She might use it, it's okay. But most certainly, when we meet the following week, we will look at some more of the tools that we need in terms of being able to develop these various documents and the planning that we have to engage in. And when we come back in terms of that workshop, we will be looking at how we conduct external and internal environmental analysis, what we call strategic assessment, because that is another element that we would need to be able to do. That's what they call diagnostic or situational analysis. So now that we are clear about ourselves now, we are able now to look out into the environment in which our businesses will be operating and where we have to navigate, and we can use the relevant strategic tools now to assess what we need to out there to know what will impact on our business and of course how we would navigate those impacts. Is that clear, class?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Great. All right, so this has been great. Did everybody learn? Was this useful?
Extremely.
Yes,
Very,
it was.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Quite enjoyable. Time went so fast I even realized. Yes, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm happy
Come
that
on,
you all
Dr.
enjoyed the
Todd, this is
class.
Clay.
Yes,
There's a
yes.
third worksheet you're saying, but you just didn't give it to us yet.
No, we
No,
will
there's no
do
third worksheet.
we would have been going into external. That's what I
Okay.
realized when I went back to pull it up. If you notice, I put them there bit by bit. I don't like to overwhelm. So what you have there, I want you to work on, fine tune. Just make sure that you develop your strategic intent. And when we meet again, we will then go through that will be worksheet 3, 4, and 5. Yes, because one is the PESEL, one is resource audit, and then the third one in that batch will be the SWOT.
Thank
And
you
I
very
believe
much.
batch 4, because we have to do competitive analysis as well. So we will look at those. Okay, so that's it, class. So thank you and
Thank
have a
you.
good evening. You're most
Thank
welcome.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Dr.
Take
Tao.
care. Bye. See you next week.
Bye. Have a good night, all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.